From observing our world, we know that animals hurt and kill in the pursuit of survival. Recent analysis hypothesized that orcas may attack porpoises as some form of social cohesion or to hone their hunting skills. Then, there's the seemingly cruel nature of allowing the runt of the litter to die or the weak to be killed to ensure the strength and survival of the whole group. Whereas we humans have the ability to think, plan, and intentionally hurt or kill others in a way that our animal counterparts do not have the capacity to. Yes, cruelty is within our nature, but it's not necessarily natural. When it comes to cruelty, the callous indifference to, or pleasure in, causing pain and suffering, we humans are the outliers of the natural world. Throughout history, we've used various methods of cruel forms of torture and execution. The brazen bull, used by Phalaris, a tyrant from Sicily in the 6th century BCE. The rack, most used within the Tower of London. The crucifix, most notably used for the execution of Jesus within the Bible. These are just some of the many examples of torture and execution from almost every culture across every continent. For what? Do we want to find some to please our hidden desires, find a novel piece of entertainment, or hold power over those around us? A question I'd like you to think about is how have we humans universally developed these cruel methods of inflicting violence? Do you think we are cruel? Are you a person capable of great cruelty? Of course, none of these questions have easy answers as they shine a light on the darkest recesses of human nature and are difficult to answer because of that. An example of cruelty would be that many people found pleasure in watching public executions, notably in the 17th century England, where 5,000 to 100,000 people would attend these executions, as they were spectacles designed for entertainment. They were fascinating as it often meant revenge or justice was served, even if this fascination was innately cruel. A notable example would be the execution of King Charles I, where over 100,000 people stood outside the banqueting halls of Whitehall just to watch his execution. Even today, we see similarities with cruel entertainment. The Romans had the gladiators, we have MMA. As humans, we enjoy the fight, the thrill, the chaos, and it is this observation that has led to my belief that we are all capable of cruelty, or at least participating in it. Even though the worst of us are not cruel every single second of every single day. Indeed, we often only perform cruel acts under a series of heightened emotions, and this is due to the emotional response of empathy, where we begin to develop in our childhoods. Childhood is a crucial phase of our lives as we begin to understand and explore the world around us under the guidance and care of our parents. We may pinch a sibling or friend and feeling that feeling of empathy once we've realized we've hurt them. And cruelty is something we learn as we age, and that is what stops us from giving into cruel thoughts and turning those cruel thoughts into actions. We've all at some point thought of hurting someone else, but we have never acted on that thought with empathy from stopping us. However, those of us who do perform cruel acts do not have the same framework as the majority of us have built up. This could be due to several reasons. It could be from experiencing violence within the home and that becoming the norm, or just never being told it's not right to hurt others. Cruelty lives within all of us, but cruelty is part of our nature, but it's also in our nature to seek connections and form relationships. And without these necessary connections and relationships, or toxic ones, it is then we are more prone to cruelty and do without feeling empathy. Some studies have tried to fully understand cruelty in humans. One of the most notable was conducted on the 7th of August, 1961. Psychologist Stanley Milgram conducted a series of experiments where he studied the willingness of participants to administer electrical doses from an authoritative figure. The participants were instructed to administer electrical doses where they would gradually increase to a point where they would be fatal if real. The experiment found that all participants would administer 300 volts of electricity, and 65% of those would administer the full 450 volts. The experiment was used to answer the contemporary question at the time, could it be that Eichmann, one of the major organizers of the Holocaust, and his 1 million accomplices were just following orders? Could we call them all accomplices? This was a difficult question to answer now, and it's still a difficult question to answer then, as it does not just depend on the cruelty within the people taking part, but also on how they are being affected by the situation. However, this study did show that cruelty lives within all of us, or at least all of those participating, as they all willingly administered electrical doses. And the behavior was found similar to those participating in the Holocaust, the Cambodian genocide, or the Rwanda genocide. It demonstrated that cruelty by collective is far more harmful, and that we need to be aware of it to ensure that such events do not happen again. Cruelty is complex, as it does not just depend on the cruelty within the human, and we do not fully know its root cause. But we do know that cruelty as an individual, as a society, is far more harmful, and we need to be aware of it as both an individual and a society to ensure that such events like genocide or prejudice does not happen. Cruelty does lead to harm, prejudice, genocide, and war.